We'll call to order the meeting of the Karnes County Commissioners Court on this 8th day of April 2014. Welcome you all. Thanks for coming, and hope we'll have a productive meeting today. So I'll stand for opening prayer and pledge allegiance. Lord, we thank you for this beautiful day here in South Texas. We thank you for all the many blessings we've received. We want to be sure that we use this meeting as an opportunity to further the causes of the people of Karnes County, to make this place a better place for everyone to live and work and raise their children. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Should have the roll call right now. Commissioner Gower? Here. Commissioner Rosales?
Here.
Commissioner Schindler?
Here.
Commissioner Dubnik? Yes, sir. I'm County Judge Richard Beller, and I'm here. All right. First order of business is under citizens to be heard. We have, let's see, we'll start off with Sharon Chester, who would like to speak regarding item 16 to consolidate voting precincts. Ms. Chester?
Yes, sir.
Would you like to address? Sure. You can do it standing, sitting, however you like.
Good morning, District Court. I would like to voice my concerns on item 16 of the agenda consolidation of precincts for the
Sharon.
runoff election.
I'm sorry, can you come forward so that my
Can you
recorder
get
will
the
take
second one at the table?
This is all related back to the need of the PA system. Okay, go ahead.
Karnes again.
Yes, ma'am.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. Judge Clark. I would like to voice my concerns on item 16 of the agenda, consolidating precincts for the runoff election. I feel that by consolidating the polling places could affect the outcome of the runoff election. We all understand that one vote counts. If you were to change the location, someone may miss the opportunity to vote. I understand that this was in the beginning in the Kennedy area. This is why I'm speaking on this. If y'all would consider keeping it just as you do, if you have to change it, if you keep it like you have Karnes City, you at least have two polling places here in Karnes City, which is the Catholic Church and City Hall. If at all possible, I would like for you to consider doing the same thing in Kennedy. But I do feel that the one vote does count, and if you lose one person, if they're going home and it's late, and they know they have 15 to 30 minutes to vote, and they pass one of the polling places that you closed down, they're not going to go looking for that polling place. And it is a little late in the game, in my opinion. It may not be for anybody else, this is solely my opinion, that it's a little late to publicize and get it all out there. And as I've been campaigning, I have been informing them, because that was one of the questions, and I did let them know as I was going that it was going to be the same location. However, a couple of Fridays ago, I talked to the elections administrator, Mrs. O'Neill, and she did state that they were considering changing that. And here it is on the agenda, so I am asking you to please keep it as is, if at all possible. Thank you.
Okay. Now, can you explain to me there's been a consolidation of two polling places?
You might want
Is that
to,
a proposal?
I don't know what the actual outcome is. You probably have to take that from Karen, but when we spoke, they were considering consolidating all of them. Do I have that correct? Into the one?
Yeah, that's what we normally do. Well, no. Normally, when we consolidate, Rumney and Kennedy would vote. The precincts 14 and 5 would vote together in Rumney. But that's not the proposal. You have the proposal in front of you.
Okay.
For item
We'll
16.
have you.
Yeah, at item 16,
further
exactly.
business. But you understand the proposal when you're opposed to it, the reason that you ain't go with
Well, I don't
possibly
understand
cause
it yet.
people not to vote.
Right, I don't quite understand yet exactly which polling places. At first, when we spoke, it was going to be consolidating all the Kennedy boxes into one. Well, that's what the office explained to me.
It was going to be Runge. I mean, it always what we were going to do was the same thing we had done at the last time we consolidated precincts, which was the November election, and precinct 14 and 5, because they're in the same commissioner's precinct, would all vote together.
And that was to be considered to vote all in one.
That would be correct. That was the initial thought, but that is not what I'm proposing today. And I put on the back out there, I put on the back so that people could see what I was proposing.
Well, when we spoke, I believe that he understood that it was going to consolidate all of Kennedy into City Hall. That's the direction that I was informed on. So, and I did, I called several of the commissioners, was unable to get a hold of a couple, but it was the time frame, and I did get a hold of them the following day, so.
With the explanation that she's given, are you still objecting?
If it's all going to be in Runge, I still object to that. Currently, we have 600, actually, I have it written down. And I don't know if there were any other boxes going to be considered to consolidate, but as I see it, you have a total in Kennedy in the 4 boxes that actually voted in the last election of 697. Okay, in Karnes City, you had a total in the 2 boxes. They represent 3, but they're 2 polling places. The total of 568. I see that if you're not going to consolidate them, I don't see the point of consolidating Kennedy's. But if you narrowed it down to 2 boxes, I don't see a problem with that. But I still think you need to give the people in Kennedy the opportunity to vote in their area. I don't see them driving to Runge to vote in that polling box.
Okay. Appreciate your input. And I believe Karen Moy would also like to address the subject. Morning.
I'm Carrie Moy. I'm also a candidate in the same election, and I would agree with her. Based on what I've been hearing from people as I've been going through this county to different events, I think you're going to lose a lot of people. What I'm hearing is not a lot of satisfaction in changing polling places and in consolidating polling places. And I agree, if somebody goes to the wrong place, and it is highly likely that they will, they'll go to the same place they've always gone to. If they show up and there's nothing there, it is very unlikely they're going to track down and figure out where they're supposed to be. It's hard enough getting people out on a runoff election to start with. And we're not talking about insignificant elections, we're talking about significant elections that we're dealing with on May 27th. I think that we need to give our voters every opportunity to vote as they should. And I'm going to ask you, as she did, to keep it as is. Thank you.
Thank you. We have Karen O'Dell.
I didn't have a specific item to speak on the agenda. I had this extra item that I had wanted to add to the agenda, but didn't get it in evidently in time. But it's important enough that I wanted to go ahead and address it so that at least you guys are aware of it, because I plan to take immediate action to try to do some corrections on this. What the problem is now that I've been election administrator for almost a year, I have discovered many, by many, I mean, even if it's only 5, it's too many for me, but at least that many that have come to me and said, my wife votes, according to our cards, my wife is in precinct 8, but I vote in precinct 14. I'm just making those up, but it doesn't make sense to me. So it tells me that we have some issues with our system. And when we start looking into those issues, we've been finding even more issues and more issues. And so what we've been finding, number 1, are even some old addresses that are still in there that weren't changed, like when the 911 addressing changed, something happened. I know that at one point the commissioners had redone the lines, and I think that was like 2 or 3 years ago. And believe it or not, this map in and of itself, the digital map was never supplied to our GIS mapping department. I had to track down a digital copy of this map because I knew how important it was to our mapping department to have that. And I was told that at the time they requested it, but they were not offered it. And so, it's important to understand that the whole county needs to be working together and that the mapping issue affects, not just one department, but really it affects, there's a downswing to it. And so what's happened is first of all, one of my concerns about this most recent Commissioner Precinct redraw is that there are some actual problems with the map, that once I did get the digital copy to, it was Brenda at the time, it's Jamie now, but to the GIS, she ran it, and number one, they have 2 areas that they have marked out that they say are the prisons, so they're not assigned to anybody's precinct. Well, we ran copies, and you can easily see this is one of them, that there are homes right here. Well, we don't know what precinct those homes should be in because they're not assigned. Because when he mapped out the prison area, he didn't map out the correct area. He mapped out way too big of an area. There's another one that's just exactly like that, the same thing. Another area that was marked out for the prison, and that happened. That's the same way. Now I think I have it as one.
Do you have a proposed solution to this, Karen?
Yes, I do.
What would that be?
Am I boring you? I guess.
No, I'm trying to move along.
I
do understand the problem.
wanted y'all to see that evidently precinct 4 runs right between 2 other precincts, so that just doesn't make sense either. So many problems and issues with the maps. We really need to work on that. Now, as far as my department goes, I need to get these things fixed, and the only way that I can get them fixed is if maybe you allow the GIS department to, some extra time or extra assignment of a person or something like that to work with this architect. I mean, I was calling him back and forth, and he just argues with me. But they would know what to say to him because, the language is the same. So when I would try to show him these things, he would argue with me, and I didn't know how to correct it. I had worked with GIS, and I had some of the language, but anyway. So I wanted to make sure that you guys are aware of that. But one of the reasons I wanted to talk to you today is also I need to get with every school district and city in the county because many of them have redrawn their precincts. And when they redrew their precincts, they gave us paper maps. Well, those don't do us any good for us to be able to put the right people in the right district. And this I discovered as we were preparing for city and school elections. I'm being told that I'm giving out wrong information because Team has them maybe in District 3 for Karnes City ISD, but they're really in District 2. But what that tells me is that we never got any backup to what was done, so there was no way to change those addresses. So in other words, there's many issues, but I'm told by Team it can be fixed pretty easily if we can just get the maps straight first. So I wanted you to know because on behalf of the county, I'm going to be calling all of those entities and trying to get their latest maps in a digital format so that we can get those to our mapping department so that they can get the map for me and tell me what address goes with what precinct, what district, whatever. And I didn't want that to happen and y'all to hear about it. Somebody from the county's been calling and, asking for this and what are y'all looking for, and that's all I'm looking for.
Okay. Any other questions?
Sir, I'm not on the agenda, but I would like to speak to this in just a few minutes. I'll be brief. I understand the need to have this thing squared away, but the timeline between now and the runoff elections is so close. It would not be fair to either the voters, who we should certainly pay attention to. It would not be fair, I believe, to Ms. Boyd and Ms. Chester, or any of the other candidates.
Are we talking about the consolidation of?
Yes,
Okay.
I'm not saying
I
we shouldn't do
understand
that, but
I
after.
just want to make sure you weren't talking about the latest issue you should have addressed.
But the consolidation effort to complete and be implemented for the general election in November.
Okay.
But this doesn't give either the voters or the candidates any time. And I think we just need to be, we need to do the right thing for the voters, and for the candidates.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you, Karen.
Thank you, Karen. Anybody else? Okay.
Judge, I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. O'Gillen, is this the proposed, this is the agenda?
That's what I'm going to propose to them on item 16, most likely.
Okay, and I have just a quick question right quick. I didn't sign up to speak. The Helena box, which is box 8, and the Gillette box, which are precinct 3, they would have to go vote in Santa Maria and precinct 2?
That's what I'm proposing based on what, I was going to have them come to Karnes City, but we did a little bit of research and it's closer for them to go to the Sonoma store. It's not in writing, that's the reason I'm here today, to make a proposal.
Okay, and it's
That's
legal
my
for
job.
precinct 3 voters to
Yes,
go vote
it's
in
legal.
precinct 2?
I did double check. Yes, I did double check the legalities of it. What I'm proposing is very legal, yes.
We'll address that agenda item, we'll get the. All right. Reading of the minutes.
Excuse me, I signed up.
Oh, did you? Cheryl, you're right. I'm sorry I missed you. Come on in. Transit committee.
I'm Cheryl Moy, over in Karnes City, and I'm here to speak on the trash issues again. I really feel like we really need to start taking this a little bit more seriously than we are, and trying to get something going in this for over 2 years now. We haven't acted upon anything, and I just want to say that trash is just not an eyesore. It's becoming a health issue as well as safety issues. Stuff flying off of vehicles, those kind of things. Just like the accident that happened with the coupling that blew off the truck the other day, or through the windshield. I've gone around the county and I've been taking quite a few pictures of different areas and businesses and trying to address some issues just so that I can show you those. So if y'all are interested in looking at the pictures that I have, I spoke to Shelby. But again, the rest of this trash committee was never completely formed. I don't know if you just want to drop it, or I just feel like that we really need to do something that's not getting any better. San Antonio River, I did call them and they did come down and looked at one of the areas in Kennedy that's was really bad, and plastic bags that were going into the creeks and the rivers, and so I don't know if it's something that we want to look at as having a ban on plastic bags, ice bags. I don't know, but I do feel like we do need to do something about this issue. Like I said, it's just getting progressively worse. I know that oil companies are trying to target some areas to get trash, but I think that one of the things that we need to do is make people more aware of it, maybe educate, maybe put some signs, do something to start an effort to, I know that I've been noticing the big sign across from the HEB that says, I think it's drive smart or something, to slow down, or, we need to do something to remind people about this and then have them, because your citizens and your landowners, you get tired of picking up everybody's, it's not just, like I said, it's not the eyesore. I've lost fish in my pond. I bring my cattle over to the other place. You worry about them being in plastic bags and the safety issues of all of this. So I'm going to ask Commissioners Court again to please take this trash issue seriously and to start acting upon something to address this, or I will.
You'll probably explode like me. I'm
not threatening in any way. I'm just saying that you're going to have to continue to listen to me
We
on
do,
this
no,
issue until
we
something
want to do
is.
something. I mean, I can't speak for everybody else, but I darn sure want to do something with trash. It's ridiculous. It shouldn't be a sign of mineral development that our place looks like crap.
Right.
That shouldn't be
You're wanting
the
people to
cost
move in,
of
but they're not,
having-
who's gonna wanna move into
Yeah,
areas that we're not?
I agree, and I will be glad to meet with you privately or whatever you want to do to see if I can get some impetus behind it.
I guess I'm
And I
asking,
think speaking with the marathon representative, we need to have some citizen cooperation along with, we can man cleanup crews, we can do things to help discourage contractors from pitching their stuff.
I'm just, maybe.
I always thought if I found somebody throwing out a bunch of stuff, I'd want to find where they live and take my garbage bag and dump it on their front lawn. See how they like that. But that's obviously not an answer, but we need to do things, and I want to work with you, and I would like to work with Marathon and the other operators to come up with plans like you're talking about where it doesn't happen in the first place. Not just clean it up, but see if we can reduce the amount of garbage that ends up on the road, so there's less to clean up. And also at the same time, there's gonna be some, the inevitable garbage, let's figure out how we can clean it up effectively, and we should be able to do it without spending
But one
county
of the
money.
things
I
I'm
think.
thinking is that, if you could at least, for your commissioners court, appoint the rest of the trash committee. There's two of us, myself and Dennis Sparks from running, but I'm not sure whoever other two were. But then, as a committee, we could meet, and then you and whoever, and then we could start to get together with maybe even include a couple of businesses onto this committee and work with these businesses. I know my husband and I have been trying to work with Stripes to try to help find solutions, to try to help, be a good neighbor and try to help one another. And so,
Cheryl, April 15th at 9 o'clock in the morning, I've got Sarah coming in to talk about different ideas. And I just told you yesterday, you're welcome to.
and that's great. And I did call Sarah, and they did come down. Ronnie Hernandez, I believe was his name. He came down and he looked at the situation in Kennedy, with the plastic bags and all that. But I just think it's something we need to address, and thank you so much.
I've got to give HEB a kudo the other day. This past weekend, they had people picking up trash on 181. I don't know if that was stupid or very brave of those people. They were working on 181 picking up trash. They picked up a lot of trash, and they're to be commended as I guess you're going to say a partner in the community.
Well, I can tell you that HEB and Walmart, because I've taken pictures of their trash facilities, they do have covers on their trash cans and stuff, which really helps a lot for blowing. Some of these other places that you go to have no tops on the receptacles, so when they get full and the wind blows, it's blowing everywhere. A lot of the big businesses also have those big bins with those big lids that come over, but you can drive by Sonic or anywhere, and you can see almost any time of the day where those trash receptacles are not closed and they're blowing, and that is contributing. I don't necessarily think that you're seeing so much of the problem of people throwing stuff out the window, because I can tell you 90% of the stuff that's picked up on our property is coming from Stripes, plastic bags and stuff, that kind of stuff. And so, I don't know if it's just that or if it's just blowing, but another issue is,
There's a lot of wind.
and another issue is maybe to think about banning the plastic bags. I know it's like taking goods away from good people, but, what are your other alternatives? Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
I would like to review the minutes of the March meeting with March 11th, March 21, and March 31 minutes. Commissioners, have you had time to review those? Okay, we have a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. Minutes of March 11, March 21, and March 31, 2014 meetings are approved. Next, we have a couple of proclamations that have been requested. First one is to proclaim, April to be Older Americans Month. It's a cause near and dear to my heart. And it reads, the proclamation reads as follows: whereas Karnes County includes 3,113 citizens ages 60 and older, and whereas Karnes County is committed to helping all individuals live longer, healthier lives, and whereas the older adults of Karnes County have made countless contributions and sacrifices to ensure a better life for future generations, and whereas we recognize the value of prevention and safety awareness in helping older adults, remain healthy and active. And whereas our community can provide opportunities to enrich the lives of individuals, young and old, by emphasizing the need to take action to safeguard themselves from unintentional injuries where they live, work, and socialize, providing information on avoiding leading causes of injury for older adults, falls, motor vehicle-related accidents, suffocation, medication overdoses, and fire burns, and helping older adults take control of their safety and well-being. Now therefore, I, Judge Richard M. Beller of Karnes County, Texas, do hereby proclaim May 2014 to be Older Americans Month. I urge every resident to take this time to recognize older adults and the people who serve and support them as powerful and vital individuals who greatly contribute to the community. And this has been requested. Do I have any motion on that?
I'll make the motion.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That will be signed. Finally, I received a request from Jennifer Hernandez, an outreach specialist with the Guadalupe Valley Family Violence Shelter. And we have someone here to speak on that.
Yes, sir. Good morning. Good morning, Commissioner. My name is Jennifer Fernandez, and I'm with Guadalupe Valley Family Violence Shelter. We provide services and emergency shelter to victims of domestic violence and sexual assault in Karnes County. Recognizing that our offices are in Seguin, and that might be make services inaccessible to victims living in Karnes County, we will actually travel here and meet with them. We have agreements with different agencies here in Karnes County that will let me use an office space in their building to meet with clients and make sure that services stay accessible to them. April is recognized as National Sexual Assault Awareness and Prevention Month, and so that's the proclamation that we have before the court this month. Would you like me to read the proclamation?
Please.
Whereas every 2 minutes another person in the United States is sexually assaulted, in Texas 1 in 5 women and 1 in 20 men are victims of sexual assault. Whereas according to a study conducted by the Texas Association Against Sexual Assault and the University of Texas at Austin School of Social Work, approximately 1.9 million Texans have been sexually victimized. Whereas most victims are sexually assaulted by someone they know, and only 20% of rapes are ever reported to the police. Whereas it is appropriate to salute the more than 20 million victims who have survived sexual assault in the United States and the efforts of victims, volunteers, and professionals who combat sexual assault. Whereas national and community organizations and private sector supporters should be recognized and applauded for their work in promoting awareness about sexual assault. Whereas police, forensic workers, and prosecutors should be recognized and commended for their hard work and innovative strategies to increase the percentage of sexual assault cases that resolve in the prosecution and incarceration of offenders. Whereas sexual assault is a persistent and pervasive problem in our society, one that requires year-round attention, and in order to foster healthy communities, all citizens must support the effort to end sexual violence every month of the year. And whereas national and community organizations, businesses in the private sector, and the media are urged through national sexual assault awareness of sexual violence and strategies to decrease the incidence of sexual assault. Now therefore, we the undersigned do hereby proclaim the month of April as National Sexual Assault Awareness and Prevention Month in Karnes County, and all citizens to observe this month by supporting the goals and ideas of victims and those who work toward awareness and prevention, and by participating in community efforts. The original.
Thank
Thank you.
you. And, yeah, sure.
Since the influx of the eagle birds and everything that's happened, has Karnes County had an increase in assault, I guess. The question, I really already asked this question properly, but has your caseload has increased?
We've had an increase in calls from Karnes County. Eagle Ford has done some interesting things in this area as far as domestic violence. A few years ago, when the recession began, you saw a big upswing in domestic violence cases being reported. Obviously, there was more stress within the family that could exacerbate violent situations, but also when you had couples that were unemployed, there was more contact and more opportunity. We didn't exactly see that, though, in this area because Eagle Ford started about the same time. What we have seen is a lot of victims that come into this area with their batterers. They're from other states, other areas. They don't have a support system here. So they get here, something happens, and then they're not really sure what to do. And it takes some effort to try to get them back to their families and where they belong. But another thing that we've seen is actually fewer clients coming in to stay in the shelter and more that are signing up for non-residential services. And that's also economic. With all the boom that came into the area, none of the counties affected were really prepared to deal with that. And so when a victim leaves the home, where does she go? You know, there's not a wealth of housing around. We've seen, travel trailers being rented for $1,000 a month. And so when she's leaving with her family and there's nowhere for her to go, it makes it extremely difficult. So sometimes they're more reluctant to leave, but they do contact us and start seeking other services.
We have a motion to approve the proclamation. Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much. I'm gonna keep one, would you like one?
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. Next item is discuss action regarding billing number 6 for partial architectural and engineering services for Phase 1B new roof project for the historic courthouse and THC grant. And we have the author is Granby Bloom with the architect for the job. Do we have a representative? Is Lorraine here?
I am here. Would you like for me to
Yes,
say which one?
please.
I didn't bring any copies because I didn't know this was going to be an agenda item, but essentially, billing number 6 is taking Mr. Lynn's, paying him his fee for the construction documents that were authorized by Commissioners Court for him to prepare for the, to try to get the grant for the roof project. And Mr. Loon and myself and other representatives from the Historical Commission and the Commissioners Court met in Austin recently and presented our case, the case for Karnes County to hopefully receive some emergency funding to be able to complete your slate roof on your roof project now that your foundation is being stabilized. And so Mr. Loon is billing $9,000 towards his fee for a total, the budgeted approved amount for his fee for this space through bidding is $50,000. He's billing $9,000 for a total amount billed to date of his fee of $39,000. And then he has his reimbursable expenses in the amount of $580.88.
Is there any reason to believe that the amount of the architect's fees will exceed the budget amount?
No, sir.
So you believe you're on budget?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
If this grant is approved, Lorraine, what is it, a 50/50 match, or is it?
No, the maximum they're approving is 450,000.
Okay, so then of the entire project, what's projected county cost and what's projected?
Right now, the construction budget is $1,019,845. Of course, until we bid, that's the budget. The bids have been coming in higher than what the budgeted amounts are. However, on this particular project, what we did is we asked Mr. Boyle, who just did the roof project, to give us his best estimate of what the budget amount would be. So I'm feeling fairly certain, other than there's things that are always out of the control, but based on what his subs are telling him now, that also already worked on this, they know all the conditions of Karnes County, those are the numbers that they're giving us. And then you have all of your soft costs, your bidding, your reimbursables, and those types of things. So, and we don't have budgets for all of those yet on the, like, construction materials testing proposal and everything. The things that we do have budgeted to date are right at about 1.1 million. So you may have another 50, 60,000 in soft cost for that. But the maximum amount, and that's on the chart that we send when we send our review, there's a chart that recaps that. The amounts that we're showing, the maximum amount that you could get from THC is the 450,000.
And when is the award supposed to be done?
It's in April, Kristen? 17th or 18th? 17th or 18th is what we're being told.
And then we're notified by April 29th. If we win, if we are awarded the grant, we'll know by April 29th.
So there are factors to think about. I mean, the costs are going to go up, so they're not giving you 50/50, but the damage that's being done to the building with the roof leaking is one factor, as well as the cost going up if you wait and do this. If they don't give you the money and you put it in phase 2, what we believe is it would cost you more than the difference in the 50/50 match. 70/30.
I believe you also have a billing number 15.
Yes, sir.
I think this work is, don't necessarily have to be on the agenda, but I do think it's going to be a few companies also.
Sure.
And there was a revision to number 15, I believe.
Yes, when Mr. Loon sends his invoices in to us, we check all the math, check all the receipts and all of that. And if we find any arithmetic mistakes or anything, then we send it back to Mr. Loon and he corrects anything and sends it back to us. So sometimes there are revisions that actually go into the auditor's office for payment. So the invoice number 15 that was for February 27th to March 26th invoices was for the amount of $1,831.77. That takes care of Mr. Loon's fee. It bills him out at 100%. We're actually doing our punch list today. We're meeting with the contractor to do the punch list, so he has completed his professional services for that. And it takes care of the mechanical, electrical, and plumbing fees that were associated, that were not included in his original fee for this phase of the project. So he was billing $1,000 was his billing for to get to his 100% on the 54,000, and then he had $831.77 in reimbursable expenses.
And this is on which phase?
This is phase 1A.
Peters, I understand these were already been approved.
They're approved by signing, they should be in this billing statement.
Okay. We should get that paid, right? All right. Next.
Okay.
Next is a request I received from the county judge in DeWitt County. Basically asking us to continue approval as to anticipation of payment. It's for cost sharing arrangements with Steve Holzhauser until September 30, 2014. This is for legislative assistant session. And he has sent us a copy that's been approved by the DeWitt County Commissioners. And has asked me to sign this as well. Is anybody, you guys are more familiar with that than me. Anybody have any questions about it or need to review the agreement?
Yes. Steve Holdenhofer is a lobbyist who worked with us to get this 1747 passed, and with the other county judges, we agreed to pay them last year, and we need to keep them on the payroll so we can continue to get some more money.
You feel like you've been effective?
I feel like they're very effective. Mr. Underwood, would you care to comment on your work and you work for them also?
Yeah, you guys have already set up the budget for this year to pay for that. So this would just be an understanding between the two counties on how to handle it. And I think it's well worth your while to do that. I would expect that you might consider doing it beyond the date for right now, that's what's in front of you.
Okay.
Is it only Karnes and DeWitt participating this time? Before there were 5 counties that participated.
The only two I see mentioned in this document, DeWitt and Karnes.
So that's going to increase our costs.
Judge Teal from Napoleon County said they were talking about it, but they hadn't decided to join in yet. Anyway, we're trying to continue to get the counties. I have talked to the judges.
I'm not familiar enough with how effective he was
Well, when they
or how key he was. Yes, sir.
When it was discussed before, the commissioners agreed that there was no report. We've never received any information whatsoever from this lobbyist. And the 4 men up there agreed that there would be a report prior to any payment to him. That nobody knows what's going on. You can ask him. I think, have any of you had contact with him?
I have not.
No, I haven't. I will.
So they can't,
I will have comment. I mean, I intend to talk to the guy and see what he's done. I know what the end product that came out of the legislature is. It's millions of dollars worth of money that the county can use for roads, which we all know we need. But I have not been in the field long enough, haven't talked to him, so I can't speak to what he's done.
well, right, and that was the question was, do we know what he's doing for the money? We just want to make sure we're getting what we paid for.
I know DeWitt County built like it.
Right, and I
Their
respect Judge
Commissioner
Fowler.
He did a good job of wanting to pay it.
Right.
And they're just asking us to ante up, it looks like $1,000 per month to DeWitt County for the term of the agreement, which coincides with the contract for professional services.
12,000 for the year, right?
But then the
That's
court
$1,000
came back
per
and budgeted additional dollars, because originally the budget was just for 6 months. And then the court came back and agreed that part of the $100,000 that is currently budgeted for Naismith Engineering could be used for Mr. Holzhauser's additional services.
Yeah. And I think if you guys wanted to get a report from the judge, he was the point person. at the
Judge
time.
Fowler?
Yes. It would be reasonable to ask him for that.
Okay, do you guys want to act on this now? Do you want to get further information from him? What do you think, Chief?
Let me talk to Judge Fowler and see where we stand right now, see what information we can get.
And you got, if you just give us a 1-page summary of what he did and what you think he accomplished, that'd be something. You want to hold this, or what do you want to do?
At the end of the month?
Yeah.
Let's hold it.
Let's hold, let's get some more information. That's probably a good idea. I just don't know what he did. Yeah, I said, Judge Fowler's a pretty good guy, I think, pretty smart man, I assume they've studied it, and they're satisfied with his work product, but I can't represent to any of you what it is. And so let's get Judge Fowler to tell us, or get Mr.
Make them come here.
Holhauser. Yeah, he can come in here and talk to you, that's pretty, all right. We'll just hold this for now. And I'll call Judge Fowler as well. Discuss action regarding bid from South Texas School Furniture for county courtroom furniture and pictures. Why? I think I have.
There are currently $21,618 remaining in the budget for furnishing different aspects of this building. Originally, when discussed, the discussion was just to have a new conference table and chairs. Shelby has talked to Carl Dragosky with South Texas Furniture, and they have talked about an actual bench area raised with the panel in the front, sort of curved, so that it would be more official for a court setting. I just wanted to bring it to court before the order was placed to make sure that that's what court wanted to do, since that was not what was discussed during the budget. Total cost for the proposed county court desk, the executive high-back chairs for the court, an executive lectern, and 40 comfort seating chairs for this office is $12,925. At Shelby's request, I talked to South Texas Furniture to also do some type of situation for Carol and I to sit at, and to match what the proposal is for the Commissioner's Court. It would be, it's considered a computer workstation, but it would also have the privacy panel on 3 sides. It would have places for plugs should we need those, and that cost would be $2,160. So we're looking at a total cost of $15,085 for those two, or for those several items for this equipment in this room.
And you're talking about basically just furniture to have a room to serve as both place for the Commissioner's Court and to hear county court dockets if necessary,
Yes, or JP dockets or,
probate, whatever.
yes.
Does that include audio?
No, sir,
We need
that
to
is
do
all.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's the other thing we were talking about earlier.
The only thing that this quotation does not cover is chairs to go with the area for the county clerk and the auditor. Those will be nominal costs because I don't anticipate needing high-back executive chairs.
Are you telling me that this is within the budget, the currently budgeted amount?
Yes,
That we still have to finish out furnishing this annex?
yes, sir.
Okay, and are there any other
Elections.
expenditures that are anticipated for furniture? I mean, it looks like the big courtroom over there is furniture.
Correct. The only thing I can think of right now that was also included in the budget was chairs for the adult probation department. I have not spoken with Karen recently.
Can they use any of these?
Sure. Sure, very simple.
I mean, these are some decent chairs. It's on one.
Right.
Uh,
But I just wanted court's approval as to the change of direction of how the furnishings would be.
Anybody have any questions?
Judge, this particular setup can be moved to the courthouse. So it's not just a
In other words, if we do get set up in the new courthouse, we can pull the furniture here out, put it over there.
Because it won't be anything permanently bolted.
Sir, I'd like to suggest too that it can be modified where the other elected officials could join all the elected officials at the front, so that if they have a subject, for example, the treasurer, the county sheriff, or whatever, they're sitting up front, so that the citizens can see them also.
I stand up every month, get my report, I'm good, sitting back here, thank you.
It's a thought. We'll certainly keep that in mind. All right?
I move that we
Purchase
purchasing
as
of the,
I say,
all in favor? All right. Thank you. Next is item 14, announcements. This is action, discuss action regarding detour routes for a Plateau Bridge closure on County Road 326, starting April 17 for bridge deck repair. Mike Wozniak, the author, and he's going to tell us about it.
All right, what we got a deteriorating bridge, and it needs some major repairs, and that's gonna be on the Plato Bridge, that's, if anybody don't know, that's on the Rocky side of the San Antonio River. We are proposing a detour route to go, if you're coming from Runyon, you're gonna go 336, but you're gonna have to take a right and go back to 81, where in fact, I have a wooden bridge out there that we cannot send any heavy loads to. So what we're gonna do is we're proposing them to go back to 81, come to 81, and they'll get back out here on 334 to hit 326. And the thing is, this bridge will be closed for 2 months. There's 28 days of curing time for this concrete that has to be cured. And weather, so whichever way we're gonna do this, but.
It is 2 months minimum amount of time.
Yeah.
Or if we had some weather delays in there.
But it's gonna extend further, right. And we're hoping everything goes on schedule because I know it's gonna put Tracy out. But anyway.
I'm hoping the rains are going to put some behind us.
But anyway, hopefully, everything will work out on this thing and we'll be on the schedule and then we can go ahead and go. What I need to do is approve the detour route and we can go ahead and start setting it up. Closure will be April 14th. And it will close for there, like I said, for 2 months.
Are there any businesses affected by this?
All oil field traffic and some residents, but the majority of them, I think, are going to be oil field.
Have any of you discussed this, or have the neighbors had any communications with it?
We've gone by some of the places, some people were there, they didn't have a problem with it, you know, and then we've got, but the oil field, they don't.
They go where they gotta go?
They gotta go whatever they do, they're on, you know, they gotta go with it. We've already posted detour signs up probably about 3 weeks ago, and then we shut them down because we had to change the date to make sure we get everything blessed here. As soon as, so everybody's ready to wear it. And so it's not gonna be a shock, we're gonna put it on the website, we're gonna put it in the newspaper, and we have it on, to the residents that are.
You notify the sheriff's office, so
No, I have to get the detour route approved before I do anything, and then once it's approved, then I'm gonna give them the detour route. We have done some improvement on the roads in order to satisfy everybody, we don't have a problem. But we've done everything that we possibly can to make sure everybody's aware of what's going on.
Okay.
So Mike, your notice says the 14th, but the agenda item says the 17th for closure, so which
Which one's that?
They put the note up, it's gonna be closed, they tell them it's gonna be closed, but they put the sign up on the 14th. They will be closed on the 17th.
Yeah, well, we're gonna close it on the 14th. Because we had it proposed for the 17th and we had to change it. But if we get
You
it
had it
approved,
proposed for the 14th, and you changed it to the 17th.
is that right? Okay. Because I gotta get with Donnie, because Donnie's the one that's having trouble ordering the copy. So I'm going off of his numbers, but yeah, it's the 17th.
Ms. Chester, you have something to say?
Can I just make one small comment? Would you please notify the fire departments and EMS also?
Yeah, we'll do that when we get it.
And the 911 dispatcher, so if we get a call there, we'll know how to route the fire and the EMS.
Yeah, as soon as it's approved, what I'm gonna do is get with everybody that needs to be notified, but till then, it was just up in the air.
Okay.
So then the closure date will be the 17th, so we need to
Yes,
change it in
yeah, we're
this.
gonna change it. Yeah, we'll give you 3 more days.
Any questions?
I'll make a motion to approve the detour route for Phase 3 Bridge.
I'll second it.
County Road 26.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. It's good because it's gonna stop the oil fields from growing. They shouldn't be growing to begin with, that's why we have this.
Next item 15, discuss and action, naming the county judge Richard and Butler as Karnes County representative on the ACOG board, that's Alamo Area Council of Governments Board, and naming Commissioner Pete Yauer as the alternate representative. I attended an ACOG meeting last week. I guess our county's been a member of that group for a long time. And Judge Shaw, I guess they're at the previous meetings, and Pete has also been attending as an alternate. They needed a formal resolution by the county naming me as the new board member and then Pete is the person who can attend all. Any questions?
I'll make the motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Carries. All right, 16, discuss action regarding proposed plan to consolidate/combine certain voting precincts for the May 27, 2015 primary runoff election.
Good morning, how are you this morning? Thank you for letting me speak. The reason I am looking at possible, again, possible consolidation of the polling places, I think that's my job as the elections administrator is to cut costs in any way that I can for the county. And so I don't think that it's fair for me to make a decision without consulting you guys first. Yes, we can open all 15 precincts, and that's not a problem, other than, number one, the staffing of each of those precincts. Just know that the last time, or at the regular primary runoff, up until election day, I was still looking for judges for some of those places. We're getting less and less volunteers because of the rates that we pay, which I think are perfectly fair personally, and we've done some research, but it's just know that it's getting harder and harder to find the judges. And so that's one of my concerns. The other concern obviously is the cost of having, paying 2 or 3 people to sit at a precinct where maybe 10 people come in all day. So the reason, the proposal that I've got is before you, and the reason that I was looking at, and just for audience sake, what my thought was leaving the St. Cornelius Catholic Church of Karnes City there. And if we're able to consolidate, I found out yesterday, and I should have changed it before I came in this morning, but I forgot that City Hall in Karnes City is not available on the 27th. And so if we can do any consolidation, I would think that all 3 of those boxes could actually all go into Karnes City at the Catholic Church. So that's my proposal. Just know that that will be what I'm proposing amended from what you're seeing. The second one, this Nova store in Santa Maria, could hold Shestahova, Santa Maria, Helena, and Gillette. The reason I am proposing that is because Gillette is actually the absolute hardest, in other words, to find workers, because it is out there by itself. And at the primary itself, there were only 58 in total voters all day long there at Gillette. And I looked back at history, again, research that I feel like is my responsibility to do and give you all the information you need. History shows that about 10% of the people who showed up for the primary show up for the runoffs. So you know, I've got numbers to back that up, but anyway, so that would say at the most, even if it was 50% of the 58 people, that would be 29, 20, 30 people at the most, that might show up that day. And we've got to have 2 judges and a clerk. That's required at every election center. You're supposed to have 3 individuals at least at every place. So
What do they pay those people for the day?
right now, we're paying them $10 an hour. And just so you know, the other thing about the runoff is, again, not as important for you guys or for me, because it's not as expensive for the county, simply because the parties actually pay for these runoffs. So know also that I come before you representing the 2 chairs of the parties. They had asked me to see if we could get these consolidated as well, just know that. But we're paying 10 because Commissioners Court approved allowing me to pay them the $2 extra. SOS only reimburses the county $8 an hour. Just know that. And then going on with my proposal, then we would leave both of the Precinct 5 and Precinct 14 open to where they normally, like I said, we would combine those 2 and they would both vote in Runge. But the reason I was proposing that is because that's the only local election being affected locally. We do have the district judges election that does affect our entire county, just know that, so want to keep that in mind as well. But that was the reason why I didn't propose joining those as we normally would have. And then City Hall in Kennedy would encompass City Hall of Kennedy normal show, which only had 75 total voters come in on primary day. Precinct 11, which is the Kennedy Lutheran Church. Now they do stay heavy, but it's right down the road from them. And then the Mexican Baptist Church, which is 2 blocks over from City Hall, and had only 18 total voters on primary day. And so the proposal that I'm making, again, decision, I have no personal feel on it. If you were going to ask me as from my position is that yes, we should consolidate simply because of the costs and the constraints that are put upon me by finding the judges and those kinds of things. I don't have a problem with it. I don't have a problem doing my job. But I just think it's right for me to give you all of the information that you need.
Since discussion on the commission, I'll give you my thought is there can't be much doubt that consolidating these polling places will cost some votes. When there are people who are going to go to the usual polling place and find out there's no poll there, and they're not going to vote.
Yeah, and just so you know, this is not the first time we've ever consolidated. History shows that we've done that at other elections.
So then the question is, okay, no matter how many of those votes it costs, it seems like it would cost some. If it's 10 people that don't vote or otherwise, those 10 people might be very significant to Ms. Moy, who's probably counting on a big return here in Karnes County in her election. I don't know what other effects it could have. I know in the Republican runoff, you got one of the most powerful offices in the state of Texas, if not the most powerful office in the state of Texas. It's up for grabs. I don't know whether anybody, I don't think people realize that. So a lot of them don't vote like they should.
Yeah, and we only had 354 Republican voters this last primary also.
Right. So, I think, I also understand your concern about cost savings and then just the difficulty of ferreting out the judges and clerks to serve. I'm sympathetic with that, but I'm reticent to cost anybody any votes. Really.
Okay.
Well, my opinion is, everybody has a right to vote, and I understand your job is to try to save us money, and that's why you're presenting this in front of us right now. But for the public, for the voters, we need to leave it as is. It's short notice for them to be changing around, and I've been doing this quite a few years, and people aren't gonna wanna go from one town to another town to vote. They'll just rather not vote, especially on a runoff. My opinion is leave it the way it is.
My comment is, what is this, about $400 per polling place saved?
Something like that.
$360
And
plus
I
than the
had-
cost of, if you
I
have to
had
rent
at
the
least
facility.
four people from in the Falls City area said they didn't want polling places combined. I had 4 comments from people there.
In the Falls City
In
area,
the Falls City area.
so they still vote where they
And then I had one of them from the Helena area told me they didn't want polling places combined.
Okay.
So I would say unless you can't, I'd say not combine any of them unless you can't get whole person.
Okay.
Just to be fair to everybody else,
Do y'all wanna,
because if you change it, they blah, blah, blah.
To me, you know, as James said, it's our right, and it's a privilege to vote, and I really don't think that we need to look at a dollar for the right to vote, to where we need to vote. And I just,
Runoff elections were poorly turned out. You have poor turnout all the time. I don't think we want to do anything that's going to make that turnout any less. And I'd like to get as many votes in Karnes County in this thing as we can. And so I understand the difficulties and the additional money. I fully understand that, very sympathetic. I personally would rather go and just keep it.
like I said, personally, I have no opinion one way or the other, it's just my
and you
job.
should have your workers already scheduled out anyway, if you've been proactive on it, all because. you got
I've been
the last
proactive,
workers.
Shelby, but those last workers, they were hard to find in the first place, and many of them said, this is the last time, and I even had 2 or 3 that quit 2 days before
Really?
at different places, yes. I mean, it's wonderful, I mean, and it's okay, it's my job, so please, no, I have no problem doing my job.
What are the qualifications?
Need to let you know. They have to be a registered voter. There's supposed to be a registered voter in that precinct. Well, that never happens because we are never able to find registered voters that go with each and every precinct. So the next thing is, if you cannot, after due diligence, find a registered voter in that precinct, they have to be a registered voter of the county.
You may be calling on some of us and our families, so you want to know.
Yes, as a matter of fact. And that's fine.
Thanks, Karen.
Thank you. We need a motion in here, just
No
one
action, right?
Okay, I'll
Leave it the way it is.
Or unless y'all want, I didn't know if you just want to vote it down.
Vote it down, or just no action for it?
All right, next is discuss action regarding an $11,000 donation by, to the Sheriff's Department by Conoco Phillips. Sheriff?
Good morning, how are you?
Good morning.
Good morning, Sheriff.
Judge, Commissioners Court, I just wanted to bring to y'all's attention that we had a donation, Conoco Phillips, and just to let y'all know for the sheriff's office.
Wonderful. $11,000, that's great.
Y'all received it.
We have received notification that EFT, technically it's grant because you did have to apply for it, and there were several other applicants, but the sheriff's department was chosen for $11,000.
It's great news, and I hope you, I'm sure you will put it to good use, and we want to publicly thank Conoco Phillips for their generosity and their continuing to be a good corporate citizen of Karnes County, and encourage all other companies to join in this kind of magnanimous gesture being made. All right, thank you very much.
Thank y'all very much, sir.
Yes, sir, Sheriff, thanks, good work. The tax collector's report.
month of March, for the county, collections were $8,476.11. Year-to-date, $10,728,187.15. Forgot to take one copy. I'm sorry. You're looking at me like, really? Is that what it says? Okay, sorry. And that was for the current. For the delinquent for the county for the month of March, $1,755.47. Year-to-date, $55,242.34 for a collection rate on the delinquent taxes of 24%. The collection rate on the current taxes was 97.48%.
You know how that compares to the statewide averages? or
Oh, but I can research that. I'll research that for
I'm
you.
curious to know if our citizens are up to speed on payments.
Okay, I'll check on that. I'll have it for you.
If it's not a big problem.
I'll check on that. Sure will.
All right.
Okay, road and bridge for the month of March, $1,752. Year-to-date, $2,160,901.30 for a collection rate of 97.48%. The delinquent roll for road and bridge, month of March, $214.76. Year-to-date, $11,479.16 for a collection rate of 32.94%. Rural fire, month of March, $839.57. Year-to-date, $1,043,891.54 for a collection rate of 97.4%. The delinquent roll for rural fire for the month of March, $120.34. Year-to-date, $6,042.71 for a collection rate of 32.9%.
Any companies that are affected with these birds, any of them been?
I've got a few of the service companies, none of the big oil companies, but a few of the service companies are in. Okay?
Thank you. Next is discuss action regarding treasurer's report.
Everyone should have their report on your desk from yesterday, and just some information about the activities that are going on next week. Give you yours, right? Yes. And Judge, there's that one cover sheet you need to sign, and then there's another that all the commissioners need to sign, and hand that back to Carol. Just the cover sheet, she'll have her own report. I don't say anything, I just stand here and let you look at it.
You stand there, okay.
I don't go, yeah, we have 27 something accounts that I have to sit there and do dollar figures for. So I try to give you the days before so you can look at it. Sign the first two pages and hand those back to Carol. So that's it to your file. And that's the money that we earned on the interest on the investments that we have. And that's a time warrant from what we owe, we don't pay anything. And that's the individual accounts and the balances we have. So if you want me to sit with you later and show you, explain everything to you, Judge, I would like to do that.
Okay. Commissioners, any questions? Motion to approve this?
Yes, any questions or concerns?
Item number 19 as presented.
I second.
All in favor?
And I handed everyone the information on the open house next Monday from 4:30 to 6:30. We'd like make sure the commissioners are here. We are talking to the other departments that don't house in here about the different tables they want to set up. Also, save the dates about the open house. April 15th is an active shooter workshop. We're asking all the department heads to make sure their employees can come to that. It's a 1:30 or 2:30. It's about a 30-minute presentation. McPherson from Homeland Security is coming in to do that. Job, April 17th, the job description 101 with Mary Ann Sines Thompson. Just to have the department heads come in and talk about job description for their employees. April 18th, we're closed for Good Friday. April 30th is the Employee Appreciation Lunch. It's part of the National County Month. We will be talking with you individually on the donations for that. Just an appreciation for the employees from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. That way the offices do not have to close. It gives them 2 hours to send their employees. Basically, it's going to be hamburgers, come and go. We'd love for the commissioners to be there to show their appreciation to the employees. So if any questions on that, give me a holler. We will be asking for money.
What time on the 17th?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Again.
At 10:30, it says 10:30 upstairs. And
Didn't we decide we were gonna have the commissioners cook hamburgers?
yeah, we got little aprons for you and everything. That
That's
really,
really burn things.
really nice.
On the 16th, next Wednesday, I believe it is, at the Kennedy City Hall, the Fraser District is sponsoring a workshop or information on, they're going to come down from ward law and try to explain how the wells and everything are appraised and what the public is, it's from 2 to 4 at the City Hall in Kennedy. I should pop the flyer over, I forgot. Yeah, it should be in the paper. Okay, yeah, I just wanted everybody to know.
Did y'all do a motion on the treasures?
Yes, we did. Item number 20 is payment of bills. What do we have on that? Here she is.
Judge, we have a sheriff's office report also.
I'm sorry?
We have a sheriff's office report also that we need to brief you on.
We're not there yet.
We're coming.
I get your report.
We're getting there.
We're getting close. Next week. That's next time.
I will point out items of interest. If you'll move to page 2, a little over halfway down under capital outlay. As discussed earlier on agenda items 10 and 11, you'll see the 2 payments to Graham B. Loon for phase 1B and 1A. Phase 1B is $9,580.88. Phase 1A is $1,831.77. The next entry is $4,468 to Texas CompuFix. That is setting up the new equipment and computers for the new software for the tax office. They have recently done their transition and are now currently up and operating under the new software. The final entry there, $24,151, is new software licensing fee for the financial packages. You'll notice I have handwritten in there the changes to that. The actual description was erroneous in the system, and I changed it this morning.
What do you mean by the financial changes?
It's what the auditor and treasurer use. We are switching, we are upgrading.
Okay.
And so we will be going through that conversion sometime this summer probably. You go on to page 3, almost at the bottom, under county welfare, is our annual contribution to the San Antonio Food Bank in the numbers of $24,000. You go to page 7, which is road and bridge. Out of this cycle of bills, we are paying $56,257.60 from the bond funds. Those are the last several entries. 7 entries on that page. And the other items are fairly run-of-the-mill. The total for this cycle, $155,995.56.
Luana, where are we in terms of budget? I mean, understand what we budgeted this time. We under, we above our spending, or where we at?
Overall, we are basically under. Some items are tight to their budget, some are a little over their budget, but they still have play within their actual department. So we are not overexpended in any department.
Did we ever get a number for last year, how we finished with?
We're waiting for the outside audit to be completed.
I'd like to make a comment on the food bank. The payment's $24,000, that's for a year, that's $2,000 a month. They showed a ticket yesterday that said 9,000 something pounds of food was delivered. So that's fairly cheap for the amount of food delivered for that price.
I make a motion to pay the bills.
I'll second it.
All in favor? Okay, here it is. Got a report of fees, fines, money collected by the following departments. We have the county clerk,
For the month of March, we collected a total of $66,265.
and you said that's in fees, fines, and money collected. Does that include billings for your copy costs over there, clerk's office?
Yes, it includes everything from the copies to court costs and fines that were collected, birth certificates, marriage licenses, everything we've collected.
Okay. District clerk?
I've provided, I've provided you a copy of it. It's one voucher. It's combined the civil and criminal report collected $28,845.23. We also collected the district clerk's office $674.52 for the attorney general and taxes.
Any questions?
Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome.
Thank you. County attorney?
He gave me a copy of his. It says for
Okay.
the month of March, they collected $3,794.18. So year to date, I guess that's his figure, right? $11,709.08.
So that's in restitution amounts?
Yes, sir.
I guess this is his.
Yes, sir.
Looks like he has court costs for covering $1,144.42 for the month of March. I guess it's a year to date of $3,467.66.
And those would also be included in the county clerk.
Yeah,
Okay.
the court cost should be, yeah, that's fine.
All right. And let's see. Justices of the peace.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good.
Judge Stewart's office collected a total of $33,073.70 and she had a total of 207 new cases filed in her court. Judge Kuzekwa had a total of 79 new cases filed in her court, and her office collected $24,994.20. In my court, we had a total of 147 new cases filed, and we collected $57,332.45. Judge Costello's office had a total of 41 new cases filed, and his office collected $17,941.80.
Thank you. Any questions? Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome.
Juvenile department? Juvenile department, special projects.
For the special projects department, permits, I permitted 75 permits for a total of 5,100. For the septic permits, I had 6 permits for a total of 2,400.
Thank you, ma'am.
Sheriff, what was it you wanted?
Judge, I need myself and Commissioner's report with a monthly report from us.
Okay.
We just have a layout on the different calls that we got through March of 2014. Starting with accidents for a month, we received 40. And then you have the agency assist with 6. You had 9 alarms, had 4 arrests. You had your assaults where there was 3. Your criminal mischief, you had 6. You had 3 disturbances. City EMS and fire 14 times. We had a funeral escort 1 time. We had 20 calls for loose livestock. We transported 37 prisoners in the month to court, doctor, different facilities. Then it shows on our reckless drivers that we received, we had 12. Request to speak to an officer for the month of March was 93. Road hazard stuff on roadways, we had 32 calls. Suspicious activity 19. Thefts and burglaries 14. Traffic stops 58. Citations 36 and 1 is 19. And on the second page is just the total of everyday intake in our jails. And we're housing anywhere from 25 to 32 inmates a month. And we're taking them to GO, we have 30 beds, and we have some in Live Oak and Wilson. Females, yeah. Females we take to Live Oak or Wilson County. If they don't have room, then we take them to Tuscaloosa.
How come when there's some that you have like, say like from the 21st to March 25th, you got 5 in Live Oak, but I guess they were housed there to start with, you had 0 in Wilson?
In Wilson, because Wilson did not have room for us. Okay, sometimes we'll call that a room, then we call that Scotia or Live Oak County.
Those are all females?
Yes. And believe me, as soon as we have the prisoners that get sentenced, we try our best to send them off. And we work very closely with the district clerk's office, get the paperwork sent off, so as soon as we get them there, we get them there.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Again, let's ask something.
EMS?
Anything?
Yes.
This is basically just a breakdown of, we were dispatched 152 times. We saw or treated 158 patients. We had at least 12 multi-patient incidences. That's kind of important because that's a lot of times that involves both of my crews being in one scene at one time. We had we had 100 total patient transports for the month. That includes the helicopter evacuations, because generally we have to take them to a spot for a landing zone. We did one out-of-county transport to University Hospital with a trauma patient. We had, out of the 152 dispatch requests, we had 12 of those were canceled before we got on scene, and 55 patient refusals from scene. And then we had one newborn delivered. I think that's always important. Put that on there. The monies we collected and turned in for the month were $7,840.64 for Medicare. All other insurances, $17,422.43, for a total of $25,263.07. We've talked about before about the EMS building. We're with Lorraine on that, trying to finalize a few plans. Possibly, I'm researching right now a new ambulance. We only have two. Should we have one breakdown, we're only going to have one to cover the entire county, and with this number of people, it's going to be very hard. One thing we have done this month is we have started our new electronic patient care reports, which everything's done on a tablet through a program where there's entirely no paper. It's saved on a server at the STRAC, which is the Southwest Texas Regional Advisory Council for Trauma. And we're able to go in there and get that. Once that report is completed, it automatically sends a report to the hospital. It sends a report for our trauma reporting statistics, which we are required by law to send to the state, which under the previous EMS administration had not been done in the last 3 to 4 years. And we're missing out on money on that, because what they call the old county 911 funds, those come from the state for county 911 providers. That money is determined on your trauma, medical calls, all of those numbers that you report to the state. If you don't report those numbers, you get a bare minimum of around $6,000, which is what we got this year. But the number of calls that we do, based on the size of the area that we're in, we're probably missing out on $6,000 to $10,000 every year, just not reporting those numbers. So that's something that does automatically. We don't even have to mess with it, which is a great thing, because that's very detailed reporting stuff. Other than that, not a lot. Anybody have any questions? Thank y'all.
Thank you. Thank you, Dennis. Appreciate it, sir.
Any other departments here that we don't have on the agenda need to make a report? Item 22. What was catch-all? We've already covered all this. Road and bridge.
You'll have my report up there. I've got the work expense. that the cost on what it averages out. And, having daily work history by location, that's what we actually do out there on the job site.
What was the double asterisk?
Those are bond roads.
Or what?
Bond roads, those roads we use in bond money, making the turn on.
Okay.
Did you say we're gonna use your bond money up soon?
Getting close. We're gonna have, pretty close to all the material down, and then we're gonna go back and start on the coaches and the concrete work. Hopefully we'll get this all behind us and start going bigger and everything.
And this budget you'll have enough to finish out all the roads that are.
I have a bond list that it's gonna be close, because back when they did the bond money, the freight was set at $200, hauling. Well, it has doubled since then, so we're gonna try to get as much road as we can, but when we hit the dollar amount, we hit the dollar amount. But I'm trying to get every bond road, get something done on it.
Question. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Mike, this is great.
This is my report for the month ending March 31st. Pete, you were not here at the March 11th meeting when I explained, you had asked me about the difference in the total dollars of Vi's reports and my report. When I do the summer report on the back, the items of interest, I'm only including the funds that are county monies. Vi's report, her summary page includes all funds that are in the treasury, which include juvenile funds. Commissioners Court does not have any jurisdiction over the expenditure of those funds, so that's why I don't report those totals. But she does as total monies in the treasury.
That account for $12 million difference?
Well, there was an adjustment on the March 11th report that I made on the 31st, which was in your packet.
Okay, I'll have to see. I saw a correct copy somewhere like that.
If you'll go to the page that is the Karnes County items of interest. As of March 31st, total county funds available, $38,151,326.51. Total county funds invested, $39,236,370.82. Total non-invested funds, we are slightly overdrawn in our cash checking accounts, but there is money in our investments, whether they be at Fall City National Bank or at our outside depositories. Sales tax receipted March 2014, $713,885.01. Sales tax receipted for the same period, March 2013, $736,460.76, a decrease of approximately 3.06%. The dollar decrease is $22,575.75. See a typo in the second sales tax receipted, I before E, except that receipt. The final request for reimbursement from Texas Historical Commission for the courthouse restoration phase 1 was mailed May 1st. The certified receipt was dated April 3rd. Excuse me, it was mailed April 1st, receipted April 3rd. and that reimbursement request is $94,539.53. As far as legal fee reimbursements, the court was in an agreement with Regency Energy Transfer Partners and Energy Transfer Partners through Duff and Phelps when they were applying for a tax abatement that was not granted. They were supposed to reimburse the county's legal fees in that matter. We have received partial reimbursement, but the amount outstanding is $5,624. I was advised by Duff and Phelps to directly invoice Regency Energy Partners, which was done on March 24th, with certified delivery confirmation on March 27th, and there has been no reimbursement or correspondence since that date. The hot check clerk reimbursement due to the county for fiscal year 2013. Mr. Hancock had placed an agenda on the March 11th agenda requesting permission for a written agreement to be prepared and signed by Commissioners Court reflecting this set of facts. Before he would issue the payment, that motion was approved with the motion by Tracy and second by Shelby, and all in attendance voted aye. No written agreement has been placed on the agenda for approval, and the county still has not been reimbursed. EMS revalidation of enrollment has been approved. March 6, 2014, the county received a notification letter dated March 3rd from Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services. Sam Leahy with AR Management, the company contracted with EMS to do our billing, has been advised of the revalidation and he has begun resubmission of outstanding Medicare claims. With the revalidation of the effective date of January 1st, 1975, all previously denied Medicare claims should be recoverable. The outside review of the EMS department conducted in October of 2013 indicated the outstanding amount to be $199,595, but that figure did not take into account contractual adjustments. Based on information from AR Management's, contractual adjustments are from 45 to 50%. Therefore, the projected adjusted due amount was on the $199,595 would be $99,797.50. $79,762.52 has been received by the county October 13th through April 7th for Medicare claims. But that was an item that was in limbo for several months because the recertification had failed to be completed by the former EMS administrator. And Sam Leahy with AR Management and myself worked very hard to get that revalidation done.
Judge, if I could, just on that, I think Luana needs a pat on the back, a attaboy or something, because dealing with Medicare and Medicaid is not an easy thing, even if you do it every day. So for someone who didn't know the ins and outs, she put in a lot of work and a lot of effort to get this money back for the county. And I just want to make that statement for her, on her behalf, because it's very hard. And just like she said, she's been working on it for nearly a year to get to this point. And I just wanted to say that so that everybody could understand how difficult of a road that was. Okay, I'm sorry, didn't mean to cut you off on.
Thank you, Dennis.
Appreciate your,
Thank you, Luana, very much.
okay. Status report on county personnel policies. Shelby, get anything on that?
We're gonna have, we're gonna have, guys fixing to have that training for job descriptions.
Commissioner Precinct 1. And next status report, Chief.
Well, of course, the Haynes continuing to work on getting price on the fire alarm system for all the things for budget next year. This parking lot, we had a final inspection and they had some things to address and fix. And Zane will work on landscaping at that point. Parking lot, etc. Everything continuing. We had a final inspection of the courthouse after this meeting.
Okay. Staff report on waste and recycling, Director James.
Everything's running smoothly.
And staff report on permits, Tracy.
Okay, for the month of March, we've taken in $79,495 for the month of March. And I was wanting to ask, if we can't work together to make the last 3 years of all the permit money that we've taken in, we could get it all pooled together, and we could, maybe at the end of the year, where we make our budget or whatever, we could budget it into Michael's deal where we could show it to the paper and show the oil companies that we are using their money to put back on as material on the roads where they want, well, I don't know where their money's going. And if we can work toward that, that'd be great.
I believe that concludes our agenda. Does somebody have any further matters during fourth court?
I just want to say that on March 29th, we had a countywide annual cleanup. It was sponsored by, I want to say Marathon, provided, helped Sarah with the cleanup cost. And we're going to have another one in October. We collected a lot of household paints, oil, chemicals, and we had a trailer truck van full of tires. As a matter of fact, we're fixing to bring us another van so we can pick up the rest of the tires at the dump yard. But I want to thank everybody that helped and contributed to it, and just let y'all know it was a big success. And a lot of the people that participated were very grateful that we had that cleanup there.
Lots of time.
Lots of time.
I think the only other thing I wanted to make a remark on is that the budgeting process obviously will begin very soon. I want to have the county department heads start right now, if you haven't already done so, making some strategic planning for your budget, things that you feel you'll need, not just necessarily maintain status quo, but to move your department forward, to accomplish things that you feel like you can accomplish, or any new items, or whatever it might be that you think you're going to need in your budget for something. You need to let us know and get some facts and figures and documents put together as soon as possible. I think the way I understand it, last year's budget process was very slow in getting done, and it really tied the county's hands of what they could accomplish. So I invite all of you, or urge all of you to start that right now. I'm going to try to use an opportunity in the near future to visit with all of the department heads and elected officials to talk about those things. And I'm new to the process. Tell me what you know, what you think you're going to need, and so we can try to move forward and make the county run better. All right? Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make it.
All in favor? Thank you very much for attending.
Thank you. Maybe by the time we get